questions on essay and letter writing, usually it is suggested that you stick to 3 paragraphs in essay questions and letter writing questions, so that you have a sort of an idea. The first paragraph becomes a sort of introduction. Remember, it need not have the heading introduction. And then the second paragraph, it elaborates on the points you have taken for discussion, and the third and the final paragraph will be a sort of conclusion. So this has to be followed in letter writing and in essay question. This will limit your temptation to exceed the word limit. So use the norm of 3 paragraphs in essay questions and letter writing questions. In comprehension passage, normally in the descriptive paper, 4 questions will be given there. The comprehension passage, where you will be given a passage and you will have to read that passage, and your reading comprehension will be tested through a set of questions. Usually 3 types of questions: the vocabulary questions, then the content-based questions, and the inferential questions. But what you should know is, in comprehension passage, you should use the answer, you should use your answer so that it sticks to the form and tense of the question. You should not use a different form or tense. If the question has the word did in comprehension passage, your answer should have the verb in the past tense. And if the question is in passive voice, you must use passive voice in your answer. And in comprehension passage, you may be given vocabulary question. Some word which occurs in the passage may be given, and you will be asked to give the synonym of that word or the antonym of the word. Remember, under test of English, we had a separate chapter on synonyms and antonyms, where similar questions we discussed. But in that question, the given word, we used the meaning of the given word in the dictionary meaning. As I said earlier, a word normally has 2 meanings. We call it connotative and denotative. The denotative meaning of a word is the actual meaning of the word, the dictionary meaning of the word. In the earlier question on synonyms and antonyms, we use the dictionary meaning or the denotative meaning. Whereas, if you come across questions on synonyms and antonyms in the descriptive paper under comprehension passage, you are going to use connotative meaning. That is, the meaning in which it is used in the passage. This is the basic difference. Even if you do not know the actual meaning of the word, you will be able to deduce the meaning of the word by rereading the sentence in which the word occurs. This is what we call it word attack skills. You need not always know the meaning of the word by its appearance. You can read and reread and try to zero in, if not exactly, what can be the meaning which you can present as your answer. Then letter writing. In the 4 questions, as I told you earlier, in the comprehension passage, there were 2 things that you should take care of, as we discussed earlier. The form and tense of the question to be followed in answer, and in the essay questions, again, you will have to follow the 3 paragraphs. Now, this is to be remembered that you should also, whenever you take up letter writing questions, a letter question, a letter has 2 parts: the format and the content. The format is that which makes a letter look like a letter. The format contains the sender's address, the addressee's address, the date, the subject, the salutation, the body of the letter, and the subscription. Now, when you answer a question on letter writing, preferably you start the letter in a new page, unless it is otherwise specified. This will give a look. After all, the descriptive paper is going to be corrected, evaluated by a person who is happy when things are presented in a better way. So please start the letter writing in a new page, unless the given answer paper has half the page and another half in the next page, then you can't help. And all the inputs which are given in the question, you must make use of while answering question on letter. Whenever you are asked to write a letter, say a complaint letter or a letter to the editor, the question will provide a few inputs. You must make use of all those inputs in presenting your letter. And while writing the letter writing question, or for that matter even other questions, see that you do not use unfamiliar words, the spelling of which you are not sure. So play safe. Try to use known words so that you can avoid spelling errors and grammatical errors. And in comprehension passage, it is to test your reading comprehension. How far you have understood what is given in the printed passage. You may know something more than what is given in the passage, but that should not be added in your answer. You should strictly stick to what is given in the comprehension passage. Unless the question says, what do you feel? What's your reaction? What should be done? Only then you should present your views. Otherwise, you should stick to the given passage. Then there is a question on Prissy writing. As I said, there are 4 main questions under descriptive paper: the comprehension passage, the Prissy writing, the essay writing, and the letter writing. In Prissy writing, again you are given a passage like the comprehension passage. You will be able to answer Prissy writing only depending upon your reading comprehension. You cannot answer Prissy writing without understanding what is given there. But the given passage, if it is say 600 words, you must be able to write your Prissy within 1/3 of that 600, nearly 200 words. And how to reduce the length of your Prissy. Now usually if statistical details are given in the passage, Prissy writing passage, you can omit them. If quotations are given in the passage, you can give them a go by. This way you will be able to write a short account of what is given. And another useful tip would be, if say for example the given passage gives 8 points, it is not necessary that you should elaborate on all the 8 points. If you are able to talk about at least 4 or 6 of those points, that would be enough. Ultimately, your Prissy should look like the Prissy of the given passage. As I said, even here you should not add any idea of your own. And more importantly, our language, our handwriting should be legible. People should always remember, all the candidates who appear in the descriptive paper should remember that their answer paper is going to be corrected by a person and not by a computer. The person who corrects your paper has to understand what you have written. So don't scribble. They say you should not forget to dot your I's and cross your T's. The person who corrects your paper should be able to understand what you are. After all, then only he is going to give you marks. And apportion the time to be allotted to each question and stick to it. And if you take more time in answering one of these 4 questions, you are going to lose marks for exceeding word limit, and you are eating into the time allotted to some other question. You may end up missing out one of these questions. This should not happen. So ensure that you answer all the 4 questions without omitting any of them. What do we expect of you at the end of this session on descriptive paper? First thing, you should be able to understand the techniques of answering questions based on the given passage. You must be able to answer questions on Prissy writing. You must be able to understand and answer paragraph or essay questions within the given word limit. And you must be able to understand the techniques and answer questions on letter writing, whether it is formal or informal letter, based on the given inputs.